Welcome back to the Now Morning Show. And of course, it's Tobago Thursdays. So we have on Zoom with us this morning the director of TEMA, Mr. Alan Stewart. Mr. Stewart, good morning.
Good morning to you and good morning all of Trinidad and Tobago. It's a pleasure to be here on the show this morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to have you because you are bright and ready to go, and that's what we love to see on the Now Morning Show. So I assume you've had a wonderful morning so far.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day in the Republic. I think it's one of those days that Tobago will enjoy. Trinidad and Tobago will enjoy wonderful sunshine, and I hope we make the best of it in regards to the weather.
Oh, most definitely. I couldn't agree with you more. We've definitely had some warm days. Did you feel the earthquake yesterday in Tobago?
No, we had no reports of it being felt in Tobago. No reports came in, but you know, the magnitude tells the difference in terms of their depths. Mm-hmm. And sometimes these are the phenomena of these type of seismic events. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. So, of course, we're here today to discuss TEMA's collaboration with Habitat for Humanity. Now, before we jump into that, could you just share with our viewers exactly what TEMA does?
One of the things that is important for us to understand is that in the disaster management mechanism across the country, TEMA, which falls under the Office of the Chief Secretary in the Tobago House of Assembly, has a responsibility to Tobago to coordinate a network of agencies and individuals, direct their efforts towards the maximum preservation of life during times of disaster. So we have played a very important role in the coordination of disaster in regards to the entirety of what you call comprehensive disaster management systems today, which speaks to all of the elements within the cycle as it relates to preparedness, mitigation, response, recovery, rehabilitation, the whole 9 yards. So that is our major role here at TEMA.
Okay, fantastic. So TEMA now and Habitat for Humanity rather, they've come together, well, both of you have come together to, I say, improve or work towards improving the response. Could you just share with us exactly what this collaboration is going to be about?
So first of all, I think I need to put it into context.
Yes.
The world as we know it today has become a very, very treacherous place as it relates to climate change and climate adaptation. If those of us who have been following the discussion, if we listen to our Prime Minister and we also listen to a number of speakers coming out of the Glasgow, or what you call the UN framework for climate change, you'll recognize that the world as we live in, we have not done as well as we ought to as it relates to reducing the carbon footprint, as it relates to climate change adaptation. And therefore, this collaboration with Habitat for Humanity speaks to ensuring that these UN mandates are met in a particular manner. Mm-hmm. In that what we are seeking to do is to enhance community resilience across the country, and more so in Tobago. If you look at the SIDS, or what you may call the small island developing states across the Caribbean, while our contribution to this evil is very minimal, you will recognize that we end up holding the short end of the stick in terms of being impacted. And we cannot definitely boast that we have done all that well in terms of the acceleration that is needed in order to make a dent of this particular threat as it relates to climate change and climate variabilities. And therefore, we have to do what we can. So this initiative between Habitat and for the Humanity and the Tobago Emergency Management Agency speaks to just that, ensuring that we take the necessary steps within the community, and they have pledged through their support for us, which we have been working out and hammering out and making it a bit cemented, that we're going to work together for probably the next 5 years or so. So we are hoping by the 6th of January to sign off on these MOAs and make it really work for us. So training is going to be part of that, which they have opted to assist us with. But this training is more directed towards the community. And may I make the point? Go ahead with your question.
I was just going to ask Mr. Stewart, as you speak about training, exactly what sort of training is going to be conducted to get to this goal?
What we are seeking to do is to build a cadre of volunteers, to build an auxiliary arm that will provide that auxiliaries fillip to the disaster mechanism at the community level. This training will involve understanding the construction. You may be aware that we have not done well as a country to have what you may call a cubic, which is the small building codes or Caribbean small building codes. We have not reached that level where our small buildings are built according to building standards. And therefore, when we did our research or impact assessment during 2007, one of the things that we recognize is that our communities cannot withstand about 75 to 78% of our communal buildings, for example, residential properties, cannot withstand a Category 3 hurricane. And that speaks volumes as to what we are speaking about with climate adaptation. So it's important, therefore, that we make the necessary step towards the training. So one of the training we'll speak to in this partnership, we'll speak to construction techniques as to how we will allow for over 300 persons in the first cohort to be trained in construction techniques within the community. And we hope that that information now will be disseminated and you will see better choice of materials, adhering to building standards, allowing people to be equipped with the necessary information that they can make the best choices to protect their homes and their properties.
Mr. Stewart, thank you so much, because the next question we were about to ask is what exactly are the outcomes that the people of Tobago can see from this collaboration? Now, we just have a few moments left, so you did mention volunteering. Is it that you are looking for volunteers throughout the Trinidad and Tobago community, or do you already have people set up and they're ready to go onto the ground and start building?
We have persons, we have about over 200 volunteers in about a week time. We are seeking to establish what is called the CERT 1000 strong project here in Tobago. It means it will have volunteers on the ground, persons who will volunteer their time to provide emergency response. So it became imperative now for us to tool those persons with the necessary skills, the necessary tooling that will allow them to function within their communities. We are preparing our communities for that big one. It's not a matter of if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And therefore, it is imperative that we allow our communities where it matters most to be prepared to respond. So we are building that cadre of persons who will provide the auxiliary support that is needed for when that big one occurs. We will be ready to deal with it. And we are hoping that CERT 1000 strong will be that answer at the community level, which will provide that type of volunteer assistance to our first responders during times of a catastrophic event.
Director Stewart, this is definitely a fantastic initiative, and I know that the people of Tobago are going to see some fantastic outcomes for this, not just in infrastructure, but also in building communities, because that's the beauty of volunteering. It builds communities even more than before. Now, sadly, we are already out of time. However, we have just enough time to possibly get some more information about where we can access TEMA and where we can also access Habitat for Humanity, because I know we have viewers who are interested in getting on board and helping to build better communities.
Certainly, you can go to the website of TEMA365.com. Go to our Facebook page. It is right there. You will be able to access all the information. The forms are there for filling out. And we welcome. CERT 1000 strong is going to be huge. It's going to be the type of event that would allow for, as I said, the type of training, and not just the training in terms of knowledge base, not just the theoretical part of it, but practical lessons that will allow persons to build that type of support within the community level and making those goals as it relates to the UN a reality here on the island of Tobago.
That is so beautiful and something that is so necessary. Thank you so much, Director Stewart, for being with us on the Now Morning Show. Looking forward to hopefully having you back soon, and we're going to be able to see and watch this project progress.
Exactly. Thank you very much for allowing me, and good morning all of Trinidad and Tobago. Be safe out there. Recognize the 3 W's.
Will do. What is it? Wash your hands.
Wear your mask and watch
your distance.